Hello all. Alright, well today's going to be another hot one. We're having a blistering heat wave here at the end of September and beginning of October in the San Francisco Bay Area. We did have a little rain a couple days ago, but it didn't really do much. Certainly it just cleared off the dust. So let's just go right over and discuss what's happening here in the U.S. So a judge has determined that Detroit, which is in the Michigan area here in the U.S., has no right to water to their house or services of individual households. So in other words, the shutoffs will continue in Detroit. So the judge has decided that working people do not have the right of 14th Amendment to life and prosperity. So he has denied the 14th Amendment. Now, up to 400 households a day are being shut off, in addition to the 50,000 already shut off. However, isn't it interesting that the water bills have been going up 8% year after year, and that the working class people can no longer afford it? Oh yes, there's a lot more. So it looks like 50 cents of every dollar collected through this water collection scheme to try and get Detroit out of bankruptcy, half of all the money collected, yes, goes into the bond markets. You can't make this shit up. There's also a problem with severe hypocrisy here in the U.S. That's why I often call it the U.S. state of hypocrisy. Here's another good one. So all the residents and businesses pay water bills. But the judge did not rule that the businesses had to pay their delinquent water bills, which is in the billions. Here's an example. General Motors, or GM cars and trucks in Detroit, have several $1 million of outstanding debt to the water department, but is not required to pay it. You can't make this stuff up. And of course, the biggest and most unbelievable statement I've ever heard a judge say, that the Detroit populace has no fundamental right to water. Can you believe anybody would say that? The 14th Amendment guarantees the right to fresh and clean drinking water, or at least to water. So right there, she's throwing away the 14th Amendment, and she's saying that if you're in Detroit and you can't pay for your water, you have no right to have it, drink it, or anything else. So if you can't afford it, you die. And that's perfectly okay with her. I guess, you know, with 7.5 billion people on the planet, what's it matter if a few Detroitans die from dehydration? This judge, people of Detroit, need to do something about this horrible, horrible judge. You do have the fundamental right to have water, but in a city or suburbs where the water is supplied, you do have the right to have fresh, clean drinking water, at least. I think that the U.S., the richest country on the planet, can afford a few people's water bills, and to get that water back in to Detroit's hands through socialism. Detroitans, you paid for the system. You had it. It was put in by your tax money. You paid it. Then they went and sold it to this private company. Where is your dividend? You never got one. That was stolen out of your hands and given to another company who paid somebody else for that infrastructure, which the Detroit public, under their social program, was the owner of, and now has been taken away. And that is another reason I am so against privatization. There is no limit on the price or anything else that the companies can do. The judges are going to stick with the corporates. What can we do? Again, stop supporting corporations. Think about what you're buying, what you're doing, what you're saying, and do it that way. But this one here, this one eats the cake, beats the cake, something the cake. The reason this garbage in Detroit is happening is because the people of Detroit voted in garbage, which then decided to go and privatize. People, if you think you're going to vote and your vote is going to make a difference, and you're voting either a Democrat or Republican, I've got news for you. Both parties are connected to the same corporate interest. Let me show you. Okay, so here's an R and here's a D. Party. They both are connected to this right here, which is the corporation. We're the people. We're huge. We're gigantic. However, these parties do not connect to us. The only ones that connect to us are the little third parties, the Greens and others. There's many others in the U.S. Start looking. If you're going to vote, make sure you do your homework. Look what I just did. I was too busy. Stop voting for these people. These horrible Democrats and Republicans, that's the best thing we could do, is stop voting for them, stop supporting them with your money, either directly or indirectly by supporting a box store or a corporate entity that then siphons money into these two parties. You know, they're telling these parties what to do, and that's why there's so little difference between the two. One group tends to call themselves liberal and the other conservative, but in all, we just don't need that crap. This conservative and liberal kind of stuff is just to divide us. We need to get together, make decisions, not whether they're left, right, or in between, but what good they're doing to the rest of us. Lots of things we can do about voting. Stop voting DNR. Until next time, and thanks for your ups and downs and new subscriptions, and we'll see you later.